Welcome to Blood Sugar Squad, your go-to channel for simple, actionable tips to manage diabetes and live your best life. Have you ever found yourself turning up the TV a little louder than everyone else wants it? Asking people to repeat themselves more often? Struggling to follow conversations in a crowded restaurant? Most people would never connect those problems to diabetes. When we think about diabetes complications, we usually think about heart disease, kidney problems, vision loss, or nerve damage. But there is another complication that receives far less attention despite affecting millions of people: hearing loss. Segment 1. The diabetes complication nobody talks about. Several studies have found that adults with diabetes are significantly more likely to experience hearing loss than adults without diabetes, with some research estimating that the risk may be roughly doubled. Even people with prediabetes appear to face an increased risk. And the scary part is that hearing loss often develops so gradually that many people do not notice it until significant damage has already occurred. So why would a condition that affects blood sugar have anything to do with your ears? The answer starts deep inside the inner ear. Your ability to hear depends on tiny sensory cells called hair cells. These delicate cells sit inside a structure called the cochlea and convert sound vibrations into electrical signals that your brain interprets as sound. Unlike many other cells in the body, once these hair cells are damaged, they do not grow back. Researchers believe that high blood sugar can damage the small blood vessels that supply oxygen and nutrients to these critical structures. Over time, reduced circulation may deprive these cells of what they need to function properly. The result is often a slow decline in hearing that can occur without obvious warning signs. And hearing loss is about much more than hearing. Hearing loss is associated with social isolation, depression, and an increased risk of cognitive decline. Think about it. If conversations become difficult, many people begin avoiding them. They stop participating in family gatherings. They withdraw from friends. Over time, that isolation can affect both mental and physical health. In other words, protecting your hearing is not just about protecting your ears. It is about protecting your connection to the people around you. Segment 2. The silent signs of hearing loss. Diabetes can damage hearing in several ways. One of the leading theories involves damage to the tiny blood vessels that feed the inner ear. If you've heard about diabetes damaging the eyes, kidneys, or nerves, the same process may also affect the delicate structures responsible for hearing. The cochlea depends on a steady supply of oxygen-rich blood. When blood vessels become damaged or narrowed, these sensitive structures may not receive the nutrients they need. Researchers also believe diabetes may affect the nerves and pathways that carry sound information from the ears to the brain. Hearing is not just about your ears detecting sound. Your brain must also process and interpret those signals. Damage anywhere along this pathway can contribute to hearing difficulties. The challenge is that hearing loss often develops slowly. Many people assume everyone around them is mumbling. They may not notice the problem until family members begin complaining that the television volume is too loud, or conversations become increasingly difficult to follow. Some common warning signs include asking people to repeat themselves frequently, difficulty understanding speech in noisy environments, trouble hearing higher-pitched sounds, and ringing in the ears, also known as tinnitus. Another factor worth mentioning is low blood sugar. Severe or repeated episodes of hypoglycemia may also affect how the auditory system functions, including the pathways that carry sound information to the brain. While high blood sugar appears to be the primary concern, maintaining stable glucose levels overall may help support long-term hearing health. The important thing to remember is that hearing loss related to diabetes is often silent, gradual, and easy to miss. That is why prevention and early detection are so important. Segment 3. How to protect your hearing. First, keep your blood sugar under the best control possible. Every part of your body benefits from healthy glucose management, including the small blood vessels and nerves involved in hearing. While no one can guarantee that good glucose control will prevent hearing loss, maintaining healthy blood sugar levels may help reduce the damage that diabetes can cause throughout the body over time. Think of it as protecting the infrastructure that keeps your ears functioning properly. Second, do not overlook other numbers that matter. High blood pressure and unhealthy cholesterol levels can also damage blood vessels and reduce circulation. Because the inner ear relies on an extremely delicate network of tiny blood vessels, keeping your blood pressure and cholesterol within recommended ranges may provide another layer of protection. Hearing health is not just about your ears. It is closely connected to your overall cardiovascular health. Third, consider getting a baseline hearing test, especially if you have had diabetes for several years or have noticed any changes in your hearing. Many people regularly monitor their eyes, feet, and kidneys, but rarely think about their hearing until a problem becomes obvious. A hearing test is painless, relatively quick, and can identify changes long before they become severe enough to interfere with daily life. Having a baseline also gives you and your healthcare team something to compare against in the future. Fourth, protect your ears from excessive noise exposure. Loud music, power tools, concerts, sporting events, and even prolonged headphone use can damage hearing over time. If you spend time in noisy environments, consider using hearing protection such as earplugs or noise-reducing earmuffs. Many experts recommend following the 60-60 rule for headphones, listening at no more than 60% volume for no more than 60 minutes at a time before taking a break. When diabetes and noise exposure occur together, protecting your ears becomes even more important. Fifth, pay attention to warning signs and do not assume they are simply part of aging. If family members repeatedly tell you that you are speaking too loudly, if you find yourself asking people to repeat themselves, if background noise makes conversations difficult to follow, or if you notice ringing or buzzing sounds in your ears, those are signals worth taking seriously. The earlier hearing problems are identified, the more options are available to manage them effectively. It is also worth talking openly with family members. Often, spouses, children, or close friends notice hearing changes before the person experiencing them does. If someone you trust has mentioned concerns about your hearing, consider that information valuable rather than criticism. Sometimes those observations are the first clue that something has changed. The most important takeaway is that hearing loss is not something you have to ignore or simply accept. The sooner you act, the better your chances of preserving the hearing you have and maintaining the connections that make life meaningful. Protecting your hearing is one part of the picture. Diabetes affects your whole body, and what you eat every day matters just as much as your glucose numbers. That is why we created the Mindful Eating for Diabetes Guide. It is a free, practical toolkit to help you build a healthier relationship with food, with no extreme diets and no complicated rules. Just use the QR code on screen or the link in the description below. Segment 4, Final Thoughts. The connection between diabetes and hearing loss is not discussed nearly as often as other complications, but that does not make it any less important. Because hearing loss often develops gradually, many people do not recognize the problem until it has already begun affecting their daily lives. The sooner you recognize potential warning signs and take action, the more opportunities you have to protect your hearing and preserve your quality of life. The good news is that hearing health is not something completely outside of your control. Managing your blood sugar, maintaining healthy blood pressure and cholesterol levels, protecting your ears from excessive noise, and scheduling hearing evaluations when needed are all practical steps that can make a difference. And remember, hearing is about much more than sound. It is about conversations with family, laughing with friends, participating in the moments that matter, and staying connected to the world around you. What are your thoughts about diabetes and hearing loss? Comment below and please share this video with someone who needs it. Until next time, stay strong, stay sweet, but not too sweet, and keep thriving with the Blood Sugar Squad.